the variables that installers create on their own. So for example, I can have my volume variable tied to my slider control so that when somebody changes the volume, either by dragging the slider or by actually turning the volume knob on my receiver, the slider value update. I can also use that with images. So here we have, I mentioned, we'll look at more of that next week. So slider controls are the next new thing for us, and they're a little bit different than other controls in the way that they use state variables. They do use state variables as before, but it's a new use, and I want to introduce that here. So one of the questions is when would you use a slider control? And they're great for things like lighting and volume, but in order for them to work, you need to be able to jump to a discrete level within. You can't, it doesn't work with a simple up-down volume command. You need to be able to drag to 50% volume and set the volume at 50%. Usually that means you need an IP or an RS-232 device. You don't have to have feedback from the device. In other words, if the device doesn't tell you when the volume is changed externally, that's not the end of the world, but it does mean that your slider control may not always display the correct information. So in general, you want IP or RS-232, you want to have that feedback so that when somebody turns the volume knob on the receiver, that you actually see that update in the app. All right, so let's start by adding a slider control to our app.